Hello everyone, I'm Rory Paddock for pictureonthepaddock.co.uk. It's been a little while. I've been on an absolutely atrocious run of form, but hopefully tomorrow, seeing as though I'm recording this at 9:40ish, tomorrow, Wednesday the 19th of August, I want to turn it around. There's a few that I like for tomorrow's racing, and as always, this is today's tips. Hello, obviously folks, it's been a while. It is Wednesday's action that I'm going to be previewing now this evening. There are 5 horses, that's right, 5 horses I like the look of tomorrow. And without further ado, let's kick off with tomorrow's action. The first horse that I like the look of is in the 4:45 at Stratford, and it's a horse by the name of Karamoko. It's perhaps a little easy to forget with lockdown and with the national hunt season being sort of cut short that Brian Hughes is the reigning champion national hunt jockey. He's the cream of the crop, and it's worth noting that he travels to Stratford tomorrow just for the one ride. Without question, he could have filled his boots when it comes to the amount of rides that he has tomorrow. I'm sure he could have had more than one. He would have been offered a plethora of rides if he wanted that. Without doubt. So the fact that he just takes the one ride is very, very telling. To travel that way just to jump in the saddle for what would be X amount of minutes, get paid. The fact he rides Karamoko, and it's a decent price. I think it's around, what is it now? 3-1, I think. It might be an 8-race maiden, and it might be returning to the track after, I think it's 589 days off. But Nicky Richards' yard are going well. He's in great form of late, and the strength in depth in this race isn't exactly there. If he's fit and ready, then Karamoko should do well. Over in Ireland in the 4:05 at Killarney, perhaps it's a tad unfair on the rest of the field here, but as the betting can be sort of seen in the market, it does look like it's a 2-horse race between the current favourite, Barbados, who finished second in a group race last time, and the Ballydoyle trained Keats, who did well again, placed in a listed race last time out. Of the two, I've got to side with Keats. I understand that Barbados obviously did well in a better race than Keats most recently, but prior to that, Barbados has shown very mixed form and actually shown very little, really. Not the nicest term to use, but perhaps I've got a feeling that Barbados may be a flash in the pan. Its last run wasn't a true indication as to the horse's true form, whereas Keats has been very consistent at a decent level. And has also won here at Killarney previously. The fact that Keats is the second favourite, I'm absolutely shocked about. I actually think it's a relatively generous price. I was actually surprised to not see it around even money or potentially even odds on. So 6-4 second favourite. Keats is definitely the one for me in the 4:05 at Killarney. Sticking with Killarney in the 4:40, the race after, I do like the look of 2 horses here. Both of them deserve honourable mentions, and they both faced each other this term. Daydreaming and Drummer met over course and distance a few starts back, last month actually, and Drummer claimed second spot. However, I do feel that Daydreaming has the ability, because he only finished less than a length behind, to reverse that form as well. I expect them both to go close, so I couldn't put you off backing either of them, but it is Daydreaming that gets the nod out of the two. Like I mentioned, Drummer has put in some decent efforts, but it's still a maiden after 15 career starts, which is slightly off-putting. Daydreaming, again, also still a maiden, but she's had just the 6 runs and seems to have improved race after race. Trainer Tony Martin has seen his horses in the winner's enclosure recently. Obviously, the fact that Colin Keane's booked for the ride is a massive plus as well. Around 5-1, she looks likely to finish in the placings. Staying with Ireland, and we're going to go to the 350 at Sligo, where I like Bailey Thunder, that's currently around 10-1. I think that's a massive, massive price. Bailey Thunder put in a bit of a mediocre performance. I think it finished mid-division when it finished 7th of 12 last time out. That was at Galway. But that was a reappearance run after, I think, about 4 months off. Should come on leaps and bounds for that effort. Should strip much, much fitter. The trainer, Mouse Morris, is currently, as his yard, operating at around a 25% strike rate, so another tick in the right box. And it's very interesting to see the horse dropped in trip after what have been very underwhelming performances over 3 miles. Now back at 2 mile 4. He's shown his best form at this trip as well. Finished 2nd of 20 when last tackling this distance. That was at Gowran Park. Comes here at Sligo off the same mark that it was when it finished 2nd. Obviously, there was just a field of 20 to compete with that day. This looks a much less competitive field and an easier field. So 10-1 looks a massive price. As I've said, this looks a much more, I wouldn't say easier field, but less competitive. And at 10-1, that looks way too big. And that's the one for that race at Sligo. Then, back here over to the UK soil, in the 355 at Bath, I like City Walk. A course winner on just its 4th start. Absolutely bolted up by just under 5 lengths that day. Has been hiked in the weight by £10, so it's got to compete with that. But this race doesn't look any more trickier, any more difficult even. I think the drop in trip is going to be a help as well. It's only raced 4 times. It's got a vast amount of room for improvement compared to the rest of the field. And I just think that potentially, it's obviously very well bred, it's a Godolphin-owned horse, that this could be, I'm not going to say something special, but you could see this in the future competing in Class 2 handicaps, from top grade handicaps, maybe even listed company. And I think at list level, with just 4 runs under its belt, it looks to certainly have the ability in what it's shown so far to go far beyond this sort of handicap sort of sphere and progress further. Like I said, a bags of potential, could improve to be, capable at a much higher level. And I think 2-1 is a decent enough price. And those are my 5 for tomorrow. Obviously, I'm not ignoring the fact that York has its e-board meeting. It's its first day tomorrow there. But to be honest, it's more of a watching brief for myself. There's nothing that really jumped out. Obviously, the racing is top quality racing, but there was nothing in terms of a betting prospect that really sort of stood out, that seemed worthy of telling people to put their money down. Watching brief at York. But those are my 5. Have a quick look now for tomorrow. Those are my 5. Karamoko in the 445 at Stratford. Keats in the 405 at Killarney. Daydreaming in the 440. Oh, I've got Hamilton there, typo. But that is at Killarney. Bailey Thunder in the 350 at Sligo. And City Walk in the 355 at Bath. Those are my 5. Good luck, as always, if you follow. Any likes, shares, retweets, comments. If there's anything you like the look of, please comment on this, whether that's on Twitter or Facebook. Let us know so we can give you the props if you manage to tip up a winner or a decent place shout. And again, thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll grab a bit more